Lesson 2, topic Pythagorean Theorem. Learning target, I can use the Pythagorean Theorem to solve problems involving right triangles. First off, some vocab. We're going to start off with a right triangle. So that's what you see pictured here. And a right triangle is just a triangle with a right angle. And you're going to see that right angle being notated by this little square in the corner. If you see that, that's a right angle, or we call a 90-degree angle, a corner. Makes that nice perpendicular intersection. The next piece is labeling the sides of our triangle. So with a right triangle comes special names for each side. So we've got leg A and leg B. So those are the sides that actually touch the right angle. So you see this right angle right here? So leg A and leg B form that right angle. They make the right angle, okay? And it doesn't matter which side you label as A or B, but they're both legs. Then it's the side that's opposite, the side that doesn't touch the right angle at all. We call that the hypotenuse. Practice saying that one 5 times fast. Hypotenuse, 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 hypotenuse. That's how we say that word right here, hypotenuse. So that's our right triangle. That's how we label it. And then there's a special relationship that we're going to use, and it's called the Pythagorean Theorem. Okay, the Pythagorean Theorem. And that is the relationship a squared plus b squared equals c squared. See, we talked about squares last lesson, told you they were going to be important. So let's just jump right on in here to our practice problem. Find the length of the hypotenuse of the triangle. So we're going to use that relationship of a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So we've got our right angle here. Everything's nice and labeled for us. We know we have a is 3, b is 4, c is unknown because we want to know what the hypotenuse is, right? So we're going to set up our equation of a squared plus b squared equals c squared. We're always going to start with that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go in and we're going to replace what we know number-wise. So we know a is 3. So instead of putting an a here, I'm going to change that to a 3. And then I know b is 4. So instead of putting a b there, I'm going to put 4 equals c squared. But please note that I didn't get rid of the little squares. Those stay. Now we can do our math. So we're actually going to use our calculator. Now I'm going to encourage you to use this calculator that I've linked in Schoology. You can use other ones, but this is the one I'm going to model with. So we need 3 squared, so 3 is right there, and then we hit the square button. We used this button last lesson for square roots, but we're not going to hit the blue button because we actually want the square. We want the little baby number up in the top. So 3 squared is 9, and then we also wanted 4 squared. So 4 squared is 16. So if we go back here, we know that 3 squared is 9 plus 4 squared is 16. Then we want to do that addition. We're going to do 9 plus 16. 9 plus 16 is 25. So now we have 25 equals c squared. Now remember, all the way back into lesson 1 that we did on Monday, we want to get rid of the little baby 2. We don't want that there anymore. We got to do the opposite. We got to do the opposite of square, which is taking the square root of both sides. So we know exactly what c is. So c is the square root of 25. c equals, what's the square root of 25? If you don't remember that off the top of your head, you can use your calculator, but it is 5 and -5. But because this is in a context of triangles, the length of a side of a triangle, we're not going to include the negative. We're just going to include the positive. Let's do another example here. We've got find the length of the unknown leg of the triangle. So we have our right angle marking here. We know A is unknown, B is 6, and C is 7. So again, we're going to start this off by doing A squared plus B squared equals c squared. Now a is question mark, we don't know, so we're going to leave that as a squared. plus b. What is b? b is 6. So I'm going to replace that b with a 6, keep it squared, equals c squared. What is c? c is 7. So I'm going to put a 7 there and then keep it squared. Then the next step is to evaluate the numbers that we know. So we want to do a squared. A squared, we don't know that, so we keep it a squared, plus 6 squared. 6 squared, if we need, we can use our calculator. 6, square it, and we get 36. 6 squared is 36 equals 7 squared. Well, 7 squared is 49. Now, this is more like what we did in our lesson on Monday, solving that quadratic equation. We want to get a squared all by itself, right? We want to get this by itself. So to get that by itself, we got to undo that plus 36 with a minus 36 on both sides. 36 minus 36 is 0. We're left with a squared equals, what's 49 minus 36? That is 13. And then a squared, we don't want that little baby 2 there. We want to get rid of the 2, so we just have a. So that means we take the square root of both sides. So then we have a equals the square root of 13. Well, that one's not going to be a nice whole number, so we're going to get a decimal approximation. So when we go back to our calculator, remember we're going to hit that blue button first to do square roots, because we don't want the little baby 2, we want that weird division symbol looking check mark thing. So we're going to hit the blue button and then the x squared button to get the square root symbol. Then we're going to type 13 in there, press enter, and we get our decimal approximation. So we could approximate that to be 3.61 because we would round that 0 up. So 3.61, and again, since this is a length, we're not going to include the negative one. We're just going to have the positive piece. All right, I know this video is just getting a little bit long, but I do want to do one more problem with you just to make sure we have this. Using the given image, find the height h of the 3rd story window. So we do have this nice image, and again, you can see the triangle. We've got the length. The ladder is 50 feet. We know it's situated 35 feet away from the building. And then we don't know the height. So if we look here, here's our right angle. So the two sides that touch the right angle, that's our A and our B. So I'm going to call HA, and 35 I'm going to call B. The side that's across from the right angle, the side that doesn't touch that right angle at all. So in this case, it's going to be the ladder. That is your C. So you can also use this little image over here to help you. And then we're going to do the same process. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. And we're going to plug in our numbers that we know. We don't know what A is. A is H, that height that we're trying to find. So I'm going to just make that H squared. Plus B squared, well, B is 35, so I'm going to put 35 and square it, equals C squared. C squared is going to be that 50, so 50 squared. And then again, we have to evaluate this. So I'd like you to pause the video, try to solve for H, use Edpuzzle to see if you're right, and if you need, reach out to Ms. Tidrick to get some help to finish solving this problem.